I'll be reviewing Writing Community Change, Designing Technologies for Citizen Action by Jeffrey Grabill from Michigan State University, published by Hampton Press in 2007. The book is part of a series edited by Gail Harwasher and Cynthia Self called New Dimensions in Computers and Composition that is devoted to publishing groundbreaking scholarship on the teaching, practice, and theory of computer-based composition. Other books in the series include Lingua Fracta, Toward a Rhetoric of New Media by Colin Gifford Brooke, and Who Owns School? Authority, Students, and Online Discourse by Kelly Ritter. In Writing Community Change, Grabill discusses how citizens write to create social change and the information infrastructures they navigate and sometimes invent to inform their decisions and action. Writing plus action equals social change. Grabill's foundational argument is that civic discourse is knowledge work that should be valued just as much as the work done in the academy or the private sector, despite the unfortunate fact that citizens and community members generally do not have the same resources available to them to make educated decisions and engage meaningfully in their communities. Grabill claims that, quote, writing in community settings is highly complex, coordinated work that requires substantial infrastructure to be carried out effectively. Infrastructures, he says, are designed and given meaning and value within specific contexts, communities, people, tasks. Contingent and designed, infrastructures nonetheless enact a set of standards. They marry the local and the global, making their design a critical site of intellectual and political activity. Databases are one kind of information infrastructure that Grabill focuses on a lot in the book. Drawing on the work of Barbara Murrell, he conceptualizes databases as a type of writing, as thoroughly rhetorical. Well-written databases are an example of good information infrastructure, something that is often invisible. Well-written databases are easy to navigate, making it simple for non-expert users to find the information they are looking for. Poorly constructed databases, on the other hand, break down or are difficult to navigate. Without effective and well-designed infrastructures, Grabill argues, making information available to citizens is useless. In the heart of the book, Grabill talks about his research methodology, which he defines as action research, and emphasizes the longitudinal aspect of his studies, that is, how they show change over time. Action researchers, Grabill explains, think of themselves as working with people to answer questions and solve problems, as opposed to researching on people and their problems. Grabill discusses several action research projects in the book. One is a community informatics project called the Capital Area Community Information Project, which, quote, focuses on designing with citizens information communication technologies that will support their knowledge work in communities, unquote. To define community informatics, Grabill draws on the work of Brian Loader, Barry Hogue, and David Eagle, who define it as, quote, an approach which stresses that technology should be embedded within existing cultural and social relations, unquote. More on the Capital Area Community Information Project momentarily. The second project Grabill describes is a risk communication project regarding various industrial operations on a lake in Harbor, Michigan, and the environmental and health effects this operation has on the local community and its members. Many powerful institutions are involved with this project, including the EPA, and the community members in Harbor are at a definite disadvantage because they do not have the same expertise on environmental or health policy. Grabill was brought in as a communications consultant, essentially, to make the project run more smoothly. To achieve this goal, Grabill suggested changes in the infrastructure of the public project meetings. Distributing the EPA's reports ahead of time allowed community members to read the reports before the meetings, instead of receiving the information at the meetings, so they could do their own research and come to meetings prepared with educated questions and concerns. This is an example of the knowledge work of invention that Grabill values and promotes throughout the book. Grabill includes a lot of figures and charts throughout the book, two of which I will reproduce here, illustrating the importance of mapping information. For example, mapping how resources flow through a community, or mapping how reading and writing activities are distributed. In Figure 3.1, What is a Community?, Grabill shows the different entities that make up the Risk Communication Project in Harbor to help visualize who makes up their community and how information flows through it. Now, coming back to the Capital Area Community Information Project, Grabill describes the development of a mapping tool called Grassroots, which allows citizen users to generate their own community maps. This tool is useful, Grabill claims, because it allows citizens to invent and share positive information about their community on which they have some expertise. Often, when community members are looking for information, it is of a negative nature, for example, pollution or crime statistics. Grabill argues that there is a lot of positive information that can be made available too, and the mapping tool can help them to achieve this. An example he shows is a map of dog walking paths in East Lansing. Here, you'll see an example of upcoming musical concerts in East Lansing. These are two examples of residents sharing knowledge about their communities that enrich their lives. Grabill also highlights one community organization that takes part in the Capital Area Community Information Project, the Allen Neighborhood Center, or ANC. Grabill calls this center, quote, the most sophisticated and highly functional community organization he has ever seen in any context, unquote. When members of the ANC found available health data insufficient, they created their own health assessment surveys and collected data of their own. They found that 30% of residents in their community were food insecure, a major hindrance to their well-being and the community's productive potential. To reduce food insecurity in their community, the ANC opened a greenhouse, supported residents in growing their own gardens, and created a farmers market to distribute fresh, local produce to residents. In this way, members of the ANC developed expertise about their own community, which enabled them to become agents of change.
So right now, you might be thinking, what does this have to do with the teaching of writing? Well, the big so what here for writing teachers is that we need to teach the skills that will enable students to be productive members of their communities. In the book, Grabill asks, quote, how do we prepare students for their lives as knowledge workers and writers, unquote? And he gives us several answers.
To prepare students for their lives as knowledge workers and writers, we must 1. Take writing technologies seriously, as so deeply integral to rhetorical practice that writing programs are built around the understanding that information technologies are deeply and meaningfully interstructural to the enterprise of teaching writing. 2. Understand students as citizens before and while they are with us, and bring social problems and local communities into the classrooms to help students realize the value of education in political action. 3. Spend more time studying how groups of individuals or organizations perform rhetorically, considering how and what groups write and read. And 4. See infrastructural issues as more than technical or administrative work and make them visible as part of the composing process. Infrastructural awareness, then, becomes part of the intellectual context for all productive writing projects.
I will say that this final chapter on writing programs seems sort of tacked on, a facet Grabill acknowledges. I wish he had included more practical examples of assignments or projects in which students could practice and participate in the various initiatives he suggests and gain the skills he deems so necessary to effective civil knowledge work. For example, what would a database writing project look like? How, over the course of a single 14-week semester, could students get a sense of how their community changes over time? I do like how Grabill's final chapter serves as a call to arms to writing teachers and programs, encouraging us to, quote, support writing across the institutions of public life, a call that resonates with me as particularly important as the line between public and private becomes even blurrier. Grabill suggests here that we have an opportunity. Our writing courses and programs can be part of the very infrastructure that supports community writing for change. Let's take it.